Artificial intelligence is on everyone's lips these days. This was evident at a recent Google conference. Let's have a look.
AI, generative AI, generative AI, generative AI, AI is AI, 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 AI. It uses AI to bring AI, 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 AI.
In contrast, Apple doesn't like to talk about specs in a keynote. We know that from Steve Jobs.
The way to do that is not to talk about speeds and feeds. It's not to talk about MIPS and megahertz. It's not to talk about why we're better than Windows. The dairy industry tried for 20 years to convince you that milk was good for you. It's a lie, but they tried anyway. And the sales were going like this.
So, what are the AI features in iOS 15 and Apple Vision Pro? Let's ask Craig Federighi, Senior Vice President of Software Engineering at Apple.
I think your broader question about AI, I mean, I don't know, we didn't say, I don't know if we said the words AI during the talk, and we certainly didn't say it much in the Vision Pro thing, but everything you guys were just talking about, all the magic that makes that experience happen is because of amazing work with machine learning. I mean, the fact it can see your hands, the fact your hands are properly matted with respect to the images behind it and the windows, the fact it's tracking your eyes, all of this is machine learning. And I think for us, it's the experience that is the headline, and the technology is all in support of that.
What are there other features like in iOS 17 or any of the new operating systems that are AI backed that maybe we wouldn't think are?
We use a transformer language model. We did not in the past. I mean, if you look at the field around text prediction, what are called LSTMs were kind of in vogue for many years, and that's what we used. And now we use a much more powerful class of model called transformer models, which are used for all kinds of, all the hotness you're hearing about now is built around transformer models. Now, this is one that's meant to be incredibly fast on device so that on every keystroke we can be predicting the next word with much greater accuracy. But it's not just about, for us, the model. A lot of what we did is the experience. So as you're typing, sometimes it's ambiguous how we should autocorrect. And now we make sure that if we did do an autocorrection, we actually leave a little blue highlight to tell you, like, we did it. And if you just tap, you can correct. You can say, no, 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 not that, this, right? And so we want to make it really easy to use autocorrect. We also do multi-word autocorrections, which is part of what the power of this language model lets us do. And so often you find it doesn't just predict the word you're typing, but several words ahead of what you're typing. You can just hit the space bar and take it all in. So I think it's really around optimizing the whole experience. Yeah, it is almost every one. So whether you're pulling a sticker out of a photo or now live stickers out of photos. Yeah.
There's stickers. Do you see that? There's stickers out there.
Apparently so.
They're out there. All right.
One, I mean, I don't know. You may have noticed that we had a lot to talk about in the 2+ hours of that keynote, and so things were packed so tight that if you blinked, you could miss a feature or a really major detail of a feature. One of the things we talked about with PDFs was this fact that you could literally take a picture of a form, like your kid brings home like a thing, and you could just take a picture of it, and it will figure out where all the fields are that you need to fill out and what they're asking you, and then suggest to you what you should be filling out in that form, right? That's just, it's like magic paper, right? It's automatic, but that's, you aren't having to think about it. You're not you're not chatting with the thing. It's doing the job for you.
By the way, another cool one was even before the conference, right? We did personal voice, which went over very well for us.
That's right, yeah.
Well, going back to last year, I distinctly remember you mentioning with last year's feature of text detection in images, whether they're screenshots or photographs, you take a picture of a restaurant and it's not even perpendicular, but you can just select the name of the restaurant, even though it's in a font because it's the logo of the restaurant. And
that's right.
No, you copy and paste it. And all of a sudden, anything that looks like text that I can't just copy and paste feels broken, right? And sounds to me like that's what you're saying, like with this PDF form thing, where like we've all had PDF forms that have been electronic from creation, output to PDF. Now you've got it, and the fields are there because it's digital.
Right.
But now you take a picture of a piece of paper, and the fields are there.
Yeah, well, you see the field.
Right.
You know when you tap on the field what you want to have happen. Now the device knows what you mean. Now it can see the form and it knows what to do for you. And I think that's how we view all these things. They're a transparent part of meeting the most natural expression of your experience, of your intent when you're using the device.
And are you saying that, like, for example, a super common field on any form would be one that's labeled date. And so if there's a field labeled date, it might already prompt you like today's date?
Yeah, and first name, last name,
right.
Credit card, it'll give away your social security number. I mean, all the stuff, it's just... No, you have control, you do. Yeah.
He's kidding.
Kidding.
Well, but speaking...
Privacy is a fundamental human right.
By the way, did you know that even the very first iPhone's keyboard was developed using AI and ML techniques?
There was a time in 2005, I think it was, that we'd been doing a lot of designs, but the designs weren't quite there yet. It didn't feel complete. And Steve came to one of our design meetings and he said, this isn't good enough. We got somewhere in, I think it was early 2006, and I could see the light at the end of the tunnel for the iPhone OS. I could see when it was going to ship. The keyboard wasn't there. Its accuracy was poor. It was hard to use. If you wanted to write an email, you'd give up. And so I went and I froze all development on all applications. And every UI developer at this point moved over, and I said, we're going to spend a few weeks and everyone's building keyboards. And at the end of, let's say 3 weeks, we all got together in a conference room and everyone got up and started demoing the keyboards they'd created. And some of these were just crazy. I mean, you'd do these gestures, these super complex gestures that were really hard to learn. And one guy came in with his keyboard. It looked like a natural QWERTY keyboard. It's the kind of keyboard you use on your computer. It looked just like that. We started to use it, and it worked amazingly well. It was so accurate, which was completely different from the one we had 3 weeks earlier that looked similar but didn't work at all. So we started digging into, what did you do? And there are all these techniques you use, AI techniques and others, to figure out what you're trying to type. So if you type the letter T, there's a high probability you're going to type H next. The is a common word. So the H button would stay the same physical size to your eye, but the hit region would grow. And so when you went toward the H, you're probably going to hit the H now. And now the E is probably huge as a hit region, and you're going to hit the E. It would figure these things out.